The stone has punished me, dream friend. I am dying of something worse than death. Betrayal.
Hello and welcome, beautiful people. This is Marco Narrates, where I read books, poetry, video game lines, and more for your entertainment. With the next game in the Dragon Age series coming soon, and specifically on Halloween, I thought it appropriate to revisit one of, if not the most haunting parts of this dark fantasy. Dragon Age Origins, the first game in the series, opens with the Chantry's understanding of how the Blight and Darkspawn came to be. Long ago, the hubris of some elites in the ancient Tevinter Imperium compelled them to seek greater power than they already possessed by tampering with forces well beyond their control. They performed some dark ritual, not to be confused with the dark ritual, and trespassed directly into heaven, only to be corrupted by their own wickedness, cursed with a magical illness, and expeditiously thrown out. Back in their own world, these first Darkspawn spread the taint all across the Deep Roads and much of the surface, presumably creating more Darkspawn, in an event remembered as the First Blight. This blight was eventually stopped by the Grey Wardens, though 4 more would rise and be put down over the next 1000-ish years, with the player character of the first game helping to end the 5th Blight. To that end, we embark on a quest to find allies against the Blight, which eventually forces us to travel into the Deep Roads and search for a missing expedition team. And it is here that I feel we experience one of the greatest moments of horror in the series, a poem by a dwarf. It sounds a bit ridiculous said like that, but there's more to it. As I mentioned earlier, the first Darkspawn were changed, not born. Nothing is explicitly stated about where the rest of the Darkspawn come from, despite their vast numbers, and the game turns our easy acceptance of fantasy tropes against us by unexpectedly giving us a grim answer to a question we didn't even think to ask. While carving our way through the Darkspawn, we are suddenly startled by an unseen woman speaking the first line of this chilling poem. As we carry on, so does the poem, one line at a time, until we finally reach its source. Hespeth, a dwarven woman and one of only 2 surviving members of the group we were looking for. It's obvious that she's been tainted, but something else has left her deeply traumatized, as evident in her oddly prosaic speech and inability to recognize us as real. What is real, however, are her recollections. After she runs off, she continues to share more bits of information, slowly revealing not just what became of their group, but also the insidious nature of Darkspawn reproduction in the creation of Broodmothers. These are a tainted and dying Hespeth's last words to a dream friend. First day they come and catch everyone. Second day they beat us and eat some for meat. Third day, the men are all gnawed on again. Fourth day we wait and fear for our fate. Fifth day they return, and it's another girl's turn. Sixth day her screams we hear in our dreams. Seventh day she grew, as in her mouth they spew. Eighth day we hated, as she is violated. Ninth day she grins, and devours her kin. Now she does feast, as she's become the beast. The men, they kill, they're merciful. But the women, they want to touch, to mold, to change until you are filled with them. They took Laren, they made her eat the others, our friends. She tore off her husband's face and drank his blood. And while she ate, she grew. She swelled and turned gray, and she smelled like them. They remade her in their image, then she made more of them. Broodmother. That's where they come from. That's why they hate us. That's why they need us. That's why they take us. That's why they feed us. But the true abomination is not that it occurred, but that it was allowed. Thank you for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's such a brief poem that I was going to just make a short out of it, but it was also such a memorable moment in the series for me that I felt I couldn't do it sufficient justice by just reading it, and probably still didn't really. It's difficult to fully contextualize without the bleak atmosphere of the deep roads, the revelation of an actual broodmother and the fight against it, or Wendy Braun's phenomenal voice acting. Seriously, that was some award-winning work and her flowers are long overdue. But that's all for today's video. Consider liking it and subscribing to the channel if indeed you did like it, and check out my other readings from the Dragon Age series, linked in the description. If stories of failed expeditions are something you're interested in, then I also recommend my video, The Alftand Journals, which covers the journals of an expedition team that found themselves trapped in one of Skyrim's dwarven ruins by a blizzard. Nobody gets turned into breeding stock though, so sorry if that's a deal breaker. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.